Hello friends, Jennifer Pearson here, Thistle Gypsy. So I couldn't just leave that strange experience that I had with the with being painted in that journey without exploring it a little bit further using cards. So I'm going to use the Tarot of Transformation, but I've also got the Vintage Wisdom deck, the Augenblick, and the Prairie Tarot, because the Tarot of Transformation I think is going to be really good for some of this, and might be a little too deep for others. So, how many questions are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? 7 questions. So here we go, and this might be a little bit long because when I use the Tarot of Transformation, I frequently have to use the book. Alright, so why did the Lava Mama paint me? Why was I painted? Six of Swords, structures for the journey. You know, it occurred to me when I, in the shamanic group I'm in on Facebook, and I'm pretty much there 99% of the time as an observer. I saw somebody lending importance to what they wear when they're doing something, and I recalled, well, I didn't recall. Well, maybe I did recall. I think I did. And then when I was thinking about the colors, I thought, well, maybe these are colors that I'm supposed to wear. And so, that just occurred to me. They are not colors I would normally wear. I am not a red wearer especially, nor the color of blue that I saw. Neither of them really are colors that I would normally wear. But that might be what this is about. And I'll explore this. I'll read about it a little bit more in the book, but I just get the feeling that that's what it has to do with. Because having some sort of garb that you associate with a certain activity would be like a structure for the journey. So now I'm going to switch, and if I'm satisfied with what I get here, I might not pull from the Tarot of Transformation, but this has to do with the colors. So what does red signify in that dream? What was red signifying? Trust. Well, that's interesting. And here's somebody going on a journey. She's on a deer and is going on a journey. Trust. When I looked it up online, I wasn't satisfied. It can be for protection or that kind of thing. But so maybe I will. I'll also do this. So let's see. Stabilizing mind. So that's interesting with the Four of Swords. So it could be like sanctuary or protection. And trust within that. All right. Maybe I won't have to do quite so much leaning on the guidebook with Tarot of Transformation. So what does blue signify? Love. Well, that's interesting. Now, when I looked that up online, it was talking about peace. And I think I need to let go of any like thinking too much about what part of the body it was on. I think that will not be productive thinking or analysis. I think the main thing is that it was just red and blue. And so I'll take one more of these just to stay balanced here. The Ace of Wands, grounding for creativity. It's interesting that I get this for the blue when I would have expected this, especially if you look at her root chakra there going into the earth and being red, very lava-like. That would have come up more with the red. But anyway, there we go. Next, why was I turned to stone? So I was partially turned to stone, like my legs and my back. So why was that? What was that about? 9 of Swords. Trust walk. So here's trust once again. In the labyrinth. It almost seems to me to be saying, stop asking questions, stop worrying about it. It's kind of what I feel like it's kind of saying. Maybe there's a process going on, just like a labyrinth, that I don't understand. And that was part of a process that I'm not going to understand. It's like, well, why did she feel that she needed to do that? Why was that? And but even the word walk could even mean so that you can trust, like giving my legs more solidity, because my legs have been quite weak. So even though it seems like a weird thing to do, to turn somebody to stone as a healing, with my legs and my spine being my nervous system, or housing my nervous system, and I'm assuming that I'm weak because of a problem with my nervous system, that this is saying almost literally, so that you can trust in your walk again, so that I can trust that I have my legs underneath me again. And not immediately, but today I am feeling a little steadier in my legs. So, and I don't know what I would attribute to that, so I'm willing to attribute having my legs turned to stone. Could have had been part of that. All right, again, I think I'm not gonna crack open the book for this. I'll do that after this recording. So I brought out the Augenblick for the next question, which is, what is the nature of the building that I saw? So I was turned to stone, and then it was like I was being placed in a hall or a building. Well, this is quite appropriate because it looks like a hall. It looks not unlike, although there was less archways, but it still had very high ceilings. The place that I was in had fewer columns, but some columns, and more kind of flat, yellowish stone walls. But if I'm recalling correctly, this is actually some kind of like utility building, or something like some old utility building. I might have to grab. Where do I keep that? That's a good question. There was a little guidebook with it. Let me just take a look here, just 1 second. Okay. It's thicker than I thought. I thought it was a smaller book than this. So that is the 9 of Wands. So it would be maybe a place of work. So what is, And really, I mean, that's what arches are supposed to do, right? They're supposed to support weight. The Knights Hall, Mont Saint Michel, or Michel, Michel, in France. I don't think I've ever seen a picture of the inside of that building. Yeah. When we arrive at the Knight of Wands, we are battle-worn, wounded, and tired. We are being asked to find a safe place for some rest. So that's what, I guess I expressed it even when I described it as I was being housed there. I was being put there to be housed, to be stored. It says this is the Salle des Chevaliers Knights Hall at Mont Saint, I don't know if it's Michael or Michel, where the knights were received. All right. So I was being put there to, as a kind of as a form of protection. So it's all kind of a form of protection, which, you know, I had been saying that I needed that, so that's appropriate. And lastly, although this kind of answered that from the guidebook, I had the additional question, why was I placed there? The Six of Cups, yep, sharing support, just more support. So to give me, it's all that stone and the surroundings was to give me support and protection. Kind of a sanctuary. And I feel like even the painting to some extent, so interesting. So the next time that I don't even know how to say it because it's not normally what I would do. Like this, for this sort of thing, like the drawing up of the energy and all that sort of thing, any connection with the lava mama or the upper world, I wouldn't do like a shamanic journey. I would just sort of reach down or reach up in my mind, or for the up, sometimes I would have the assistance of an animal of some kind. But I think now with this situation, with this place that I saw, that maybe I'll try to see myself there and just see what happens. Because I almost feel like I've been given a protective place. For whatever reason. And that is a place where I should that I should go for further experiences, and not in that it will shelter me as I experience further things. So interesting, and not as long and involved as I thought it might be. I just didn't feel a super strong need to like go in depth in the Tarot of Transformation, and I think that's good, and I feel like overall I got a good impression and understanding from things. I don't feel like I need to understand even more deeply at this point, to be honest. And I had the Prairie Tarot waiting in case things got too wonky, but I don't feel like I I need that either. That kind of, it's a very grounding sort of deck. So I'm going to leave it at that. I had my exploration, and it all makes some sense to me, and I'm moving on. All right, everybody, take care, and thanks as always for coming along for the journey. Bye-bye.